Okay. I started and stopped this video probably like a dozen times so far because I'm trying to avoid the clickety-clacketing for the autistics among us who can't stand sensory sensitive things. So hopefully that's fixed. My producer would advise me to do that. What are we on? Part 2? Oh boy. Part 2 might be a real doozy, but before we get into any sort of material progression, we need to go back a little bit to yesterday. So on Thursday, part 1 addressed a couple of things. Hopefully none of them were perceived as facts, because I don't know, those things need to be checked, until they become factual evidence. Just double check them all. I say things that are incorrect all the time. That's the disclaimer of my life. It's whoa. She says incorrect things sometimes. I don't understand why anybody would not acknowledge that about themselves. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, I'm just an idiot. And I say stuff incorrectly a lot. And so one of the things I said yesterday that was incorrect, in addition to the clickety-clacking, another mistake I made was saying that nobody cares that Michael Jackson is in jail. And they do. There are people that care that Michael Jackson Villanos is in jail. I'm sure his friggin' mother is one of them. My God. Probably woman would love to see her baby. I don't know. I never met her. His attorney did. My attorney is his attorney. Facts. Facts are fun. Facts are true that his attorney is my attorney. You could fact and check that one. I don't know if it's public record, but it is now. I co-opted that guy's attorney and was like, you're mine now, because I need one. We'll get into that. Okay. Second thing that I wanted to address was that I am a nonconformist to the world. It's very uncomfortable. It leads me into sticky situations no matter where I turn. Those who love me are they're the ones that stick around no matter what happens. They're we're sticking with this girl. She is awesome, and I love them. I love the 20 people that have watched this video who are lovingly kind to me and cheer me on. I have a crew of cheerleaders, and I'm apparently last year they were put up to some cosmic test of their love for me. I didn't mean to, but I lost a lot of friends last year. But I kept a lot too, I kept so many. And the ones that I kept, I'm damn, that's love. I mean, I'm not calling it perfect or anything. It's not like these people are God, but a lot of them showed me godly love. A lot of them did. I'm very grateful. But anyway, about being a nonconformist. So I am working really hard as of especially a couple months ago when I sat in this deep prayer. I'm becoming a conformist to the will of God. I'm trying really hard to be a conformist in one area. A nonconformist in all others, but a conformist in one area. And that is conforming to the will of God. And I'll never forget this. I hope I never forget this day. Super mediocre, blase, I don't know, just a day. It's not like there was a lot going on, but I just felt I really need to pour out my will. I need to sit here in deep contemplative prayer and just tell God how much I don't want my will to be done anymore. I hate my will, like my interpretation of how everything should go and how it shouldn't go. Like, I don't mean to say I hate myself or anything. I just don't want my will to be done. Self-will is one of those things that really just, like, it doesn't work. I've talked a lot about imperfection and people making mistakes, and I'm one of the big ones, and, like, that's humility, which is great, but, like, I don't mean it in a humility type of way, and I just mean it, like, or in a self-deflating kind of way. That's not how I'm saying it. I just really do mean that, like, when we are following our own will and our own design, and we're trudging through this life being like, oh, I got it figured out, I'll handle it, I've got this all, which I've done a lot of. Like, I've been like, I'll take care of it, and I'll do it all, and I make things worse a lot of times when I do that. I had to learn the lesson the hard way. I had a pure heart. I was really kind and loving and always trying to do the right thing and trying to fix it and clean it up. And, like, I think that's what happens with a lot of people who have any, like, shred of power. If you're a politician or something, or some sort of a leader, you kind of get into it and you're like, I'm going to get into this and make things better. And then you're like, oops. I didn't. I meant to, but I didn't make things better because I followed my own design. I designed it, and then I followed it, and a bunch of people followed it also, and, like, a bunch of mistakes were made. So what do we do instead of that? Conform to the will of God. Well, I don't know how to do that, so I'm reading a book about it. It's conveniently. What is it called? Not convenient, but, I mean, it's convenient in a way, but coincidentally, ironically, interestingly, it's called The Sunflower. Conforming, yeah, word of the day, conforming the will of man to the will of God. It's like, hey, you don't know how? Well, I'll read a book. So, by St. John of Tobolsk. Yeah, so those are the two things that I really wanted to clarify based on yesterday's chat. People care about Michael Jackson being in jail. I don't know I feel like probably a lot of people are in a similar situation that I'm in, where it's like, I don't know what to do about it, though. Well, I'm just like, I don't either, but one thing I can do is just start talking about the fact. And that one is a fact. I checked it. Fact-checked it just yesterday. I check about it a lot. I talked to my attorney, who's his attorney. I call our attorney. We share an attorney. Oh, what do I say? I don't even know where to start. I have to start with something, so I'm just going to start by working on a little project. I'm going to work on a little project while I talk. So, hopefully there's not too much noise that happens, but I just like, I just want to be a normal person, and I want to confess my sins, and then I want to, like, share my ideas and my thoughts, and I want to see if anybody out there in the world is like, whoa, now that you're sharing some of the things you're thinking, Lydia, I, like, kind of know more of what to do. That would be so fun. I would be like, sweet, okay, so I'm sharing thoughts, I'm sharing feelings, I'm sharing facts, I'm sharing just not facts, things that are far from factual, and they're just philosophical. And if it's like people are like, oh, dude, I'm inspired, I know what to do, I would be like, oh, I feel better. And all of a sudden, the girl goes from being a consumer to a contributor. Yeah. I feel like we all want to be more of a contributor, we all are definitely at a certain point, just like super tired of like, I can't take anything else. I gotta start giving at a certain point, because like all this taking I've been doing, like all the receiving, the Amazon.coming that I've been doing, the consuming is just, it's too much. I have too much. I need to give. And then when you give, you're like, oh my God. When I give out to the world and I like contribute, I receive even more than I did before. And you're just like, oh God. Is there any way we can strike a balance? I was talking to one of my besties last night. I keep trying to figure out how to like not name people's names so that I can like protect their anonymity. I do my best. But anyway, I was talking to one of my besties last night who was, around for a lot of the drama, for a lot of the happenings. And he says that, do whatever you do with a balance and you'll be fine. Do it within balance or have balance to the approach. And like, there's some slight new aginess to that, and that person has a little bit of a slight new aginess to their philosophy, which I am not judging. I was steeped in it. I was the teacher of balance. I'm a Libra. Remember the Libra? All those balance scales that she be holding on to. It's an interesting astrological sign, and I am super not here to teach about astrology. No! However, among the astrological signs, we Libras are the only what is the word? Animal? We're not animals. We're just justice seeking weirdos. So the balance scale is oh my God, I'm thinking of this word and I just like can't come to the word, where it's like not animalian. Whatever, words get hard, even if you have a degree in words, which I have a degree in words. I got a bachelor's degree in words. It's called language arts. I have a language arts degree. So I'm qualified to use a voice. It's a voice of reason. I'm extremely reasonable. I'm being very sarcastic. If you can't pick up on that, I'll just point it out. I'm being sarcastic. I really don't know how reasonable I am. Honestly, I don't know that would be the thing I would put on a list of qualities that I am. It's like, oh, she's very reasonable. Like, no, I don't think I am. I could become more. I would like to be more reasonable. It's like not anatomical. That's not the word I'm thinking of, is it? Maybe it is. So, but anyways, yeah, so now that I've clarified a couple of those things, which is good, clarity is always good, you're like out here just being like, okay, I told God I would make a podcast, and now I'm gonna do that, really imperfectly, and I have no idea if God is happy or disappointed. Don't know yet. We'll see. All I know is he's got to be at least somewhat happy, because I told him I would, and then I did. And then I was like, God, I made mistakes within it. I made some mistakes within it because I spoke things that, aren't really true. People do care. I'm not the only one who cares about this young man. Stupid that I even said that. But, like, I wasn't really punching down to the humans in his life that care about him. But I was talking about, like, people with authority don't give a fuck about him, that's for sure. So I guess you could call it like punching up. Like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of people that have sway, that have a lot of talent, that have power, you know, or at least some perceived power, and they don't do anything about this situation. So I challenge those who could do more about this, who could do anything about it, rather, to do something about it, you know. And I mean, they know who they are. These, like, members of the court, they know who they are. These prosecutors, these parole agents, and I certainly don't have all of the facts for sure, but like, he keeps getting denied from the board. I think it's a parole board. I'm pretty sure at this point it's like a parole board. Keeps getting denied leave, and it's a real problem, you know. It's a real fucking problem. And I don't know why it's such a problem for me. It could be just like, whatever, this poor kid, you know. But it's a problem. It's a real sincere problem that this is happening. And I showed up to his trial, and I was the only person, except for like, I think one other person who was sitting on the stand, the witness stand, to like do everything I could, you know, at least wittingly to help. But like, I was just like, I wish I'd done more so badly. I didn't do anything because I was like, what I'm up here for is to talk about my statement against Brett Foreman. That's all public, so I'm using his name. I apologize. Sorry, Brett. Sorry I made a fucking police report against you. By the way, my sister made one against me. My crazy sister, who was very mad at me, justifiably angry with me because I made a lot of mistakes, and trying to help her, I made a lot of mistakes. I hurt her by accident because I used my own will and the design of my solution, my like problem solving ability, which was, you know, limited, very limited. I hurt my sister, and in so doing, you know, she's blackmailed me, and she's kind of gotten back at me, and like, but mostly she's just the one who suffers. She's suffering still because she hasn't gotten the help that she needs, and she hasn't had, I don't know, like, you know, the will of God is so a mystery to all of us sometimes, you know. It's a great mystery sometimes, and like, that's why I'm reading a book on how to understand it. Like, I have a whole book over here that's like gonna describe what that is, and I don't know if this is like, you know, gonna get me straight to the will of God on the other side. But one of the things that, so let me back up. Like, I filed a police report against someone, and by doing that, it involved me in the murder trial. And I was, to my recollection, one of the only people who stood on the witness stand in defense of him voluntarily, especially voluntarily. That was definitely true. In talking to Michael Jackson's attorney, who's now my attorney, you know, that man learned very quickly, that attorney, Brian Brown, quickly learned that, damn, this girl is pissed. Real pissed. And yeah, I mean, just, I don't know why I'm so angry. I don't understand why it matters so much to me that yet another innocent black man is on trial for something he didn't do, and he's about to go to jail for it. Like, made me very mad. You know, I'm one of those people who doesn't like sit around and just feel nothing about stuff like that. Sometimes I sort of wish I could. It would be a little bit convenient to be like, oh, well, it's not my life. You know, but I can't. I don't think that's God's will, frankly, and it certainly isn't mine. I have no idea exactly. Like, maybe it is God's will, and maybe I'm just really off the mark here, but like, I'm sorry. I wasn't made that way. I wasn't made that way. I don't know what to do about it all the time, except for just get myself into some sticky, icky situations and then pray for God to come and rescue me out of them. And he does. He's like, okay, you, my child, are a hot mess. And I am. I'm a hot mess. I currently, as we speak, am stuffing marijuana into a joint. Why? Because I am a sinful being, and I need some medicine right now, and I'm doing a very bad job at this. A very bad job at this. So I showed up for the trial, and I wish I had done more. I wish I said more. I wish I was better articulating. I wish I had not been so scared. Oh my God, I was so scared. You guys, this was a long time ago. It was like last year, not this past summer, but the summer before that, when I was, facing all of this craziness. And I was terrified out of my mind. I lost my mind, actually. So this little chat is a foreshadowing to communicating about that. But yeah, I mean, all of this stress and terror of someone who, catastrophically died, like, in a violent way, like, I couldn't help but think, like, okay, so I am at risk. I felt like I needed some sort of a protection, like witness protection type of thing. It's really difficult. It's a weird thing to go through a situation like that, but I was very like, okay, so somebody killed her and they're out in the world and they killed her really violently, and I don't know why they did it. I still don't know. Why would someone do something so horrible? I don't think a person did it. I think maybe like their body did, but I don't think that a person who is embodied truly like did it. In other words, there's an entity inside of a person who like came through a person's body and like created an action of horror, true horror. And it's scary, it was really scary. Everybody should be very nervous, that like, not that we should be scared that somebody's gonna come in and break in and kill us and we're all unsafe. That's not what I mean, because fuck that noise. That's not it. The media, the news would have you be like, ooh, I'm scared. But it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, like, if it happens to your friend or someone you know, and like, and I wasn't even that good of friends with Sam, by the way. That's another clarification. I really want to make sure it's abundantly clear. Like, some people were like, she wasn't your friend, she was your acquaintance. And I'm like, okay, whatever, sorry. Like, I think she's the one who gets the answer in that, and like, or me and her, isn't that like kind of between Sam and I? Like, I don't know, whatever. Every time I saw her, I loved her, and I wanted to be friends with her, and we talked about like getting together more and stuff, but I was always too fucking busy, and I'm sure she was too. That girl is very busy. She was awesome. So when we just got busy together and showed up to a bunch of stuff and ran into each other a whole bunch and had really interesting conversations, and I don't know what she really thought of me. Maybe she was like, Lydia sucks. She didn't seem like she thought that. She seemed like she was, she's so loving. Such a loving person. Feels really good to talk about her right now, because I don't know if we do enough. We being those left behind. But yeah, I mean, somebody who is super duper demon possessed, bad, like big time, fully demon possessed, totally lost agency over themselves, Killed her. To make matters more complicated, not only did somebody do it and get away with it, but somebody didn't do it and got accused of it. You know, like Michael got accused of doing this thing by the Detroit police and the prosecuting attorney, and he didn't do it. You know, the jury found him to be not guilty of the crime that they were accusing him of. They found him to be guilty of lying to the police, which I wish that they hadn't, but like, whatever, it's true, he did. He lied, he admitted that. He admitted that. So what was the recommendation for it? The recommendation from the court administration, per like everything that's reasonable, is like a very light sentence of including probation, especially because clearly this kid needs to stop fucking breaking into cars. Hopefully let's like slap that on there and just like include that. But like, the poor kid needs also some fucking therapy, probably, for like all of the stuff he was going through. Can you imagine? Can you even like imagine? Anyway, we're 26 minutes into this, and I'm so eternally grateful to anybody willing and interested in listening to me spout out how I feel, what I think, and how I feel. And then to have people like my friends, this crew of people that are still around even through all the thick and thin of my crazy life, to have those people, that collection of humans who are still around, say to me like, dude, good job, proud of you, keep going. You know, I watched the video, I'm really sorry you got fired, but like, good job, keep going. So haters are probably gonna show up on this, what is this platform, my platform of 3 subscribers in the internet. I'm sure there's gonna be hateful people though eventually, if I keep going, that will say something like, you should stop, you should cease to exist. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how. I tried last year to cease to exist. I was very much so trying. I was like on the brink of death. You know, I didn't want to survive. I was really, really trying not to. I was trying super hard not to survive last year, following a lot of hard stuff. I really wanted my life to be over. You know, I was real hungry for the next chapter of whatever this is. However, as it's so aptly put in the book that I just referenced, The Sunflower, God is not the creator of sin. He is not the creator of evil. However, anything that happens under the sun is under the allowance of God. It is either allowed to happen or it is not allowed to happen. And God's will and judgment is divine providence, and our job is to somehow learn how to discern what God's will is and move forward with it. But like, it's never to be like, God's will is for me to never suffer or struggle. That's not it. God's will is to use all things for good. That's what God's will is. So yeah, I was on the brink of death, you know? And I was trying to meditate through it. I was sitting there and I was like, I'm going to meditate through this process because that's what I know to do as like a little liberal hippy dippy, what was I called? Libra. it was my toolkit, you know? So I was like, okay, I want to use all the tools in the toolbox. I remember being in the psych hospital. I had to go to a psychiatric hospital a couple of times. And there was a yoga mat in there with some like yoga movements. And I'm just like, looking back, I was like, oh man, y'all are interesting. You little puppeteers of the dark side. But yeah, I came crashing and burning on the path of going it my own way and doing the things that are under the umbrella of New Age and pagan occult practices. You name it, I did it. And it really ate me alive in the end. And I had no idea. Until one day I started waking up. And I started putting on the armor of God, because my mother, who's like an ardent Christian and reads nothing except for the Bible, and she reads a lot too, but she just like reads the Bible all day. Like she's just out here reading the Bible all day, every day. Prayer warrior, like fierce woman, was like, okay, holy shit, I know what to do. Lydia, you ready? Gear up. Buckle up, kid. We're gonna change. You're about to change. You're about to go through a little bit of a transformation. And I'm still changing. Okay. I'm on the journey, all right? I just packed 2 joints. I am imperfectly on the journey. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm still smoking cigarettes. I'm still smoking weed. But I'm only permissioned to smoke weed as of a couple months ago, because homegirl got herself into probation. So like this, it turns so thick. It's so thick and funny at this point. It's hilarious. I mean, a lot of it was not funny at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna die for sure. Someone's either gonna kill me or I'm gonna kill myself. But I didn't. Praise God, I didn't. You know, I did not do that. But yeah, it got dicey there for a second. And all I can say right now is there's so much more to tell you guys about, like, my story. In some circles, people call it a testimony. Well, I don't care. It's just a story. It's a story about a girl who felt very deeply, i.e. me. I felt very deeply, you know, about a lot of stuff for a long time. I have felt deeply about a lot of things for a long time, and I try really hard to navigate that the best that I can. And you know, it's just the case that I ended up in the occult. You know, I ended up as a pagan spiritualist, and I was walking that path for, like, I don't know, 20 years. And I gotta say, like, I'm messy right now, and like I have like a lion's mane of hair that's just like unkempt, but like I feel like I like this version of myself so much better than the one that was like a life coach. You know, don't you guys feel like that version of me that was on Facebook was like kind of dumb? I don't know. I got a lot of love, and I really appreciated all the love, but it was a little bit scared and like censored. I was very censored, and I was trying really hard to help people make perfect lives for themselves. And I was doing my best, and I was trying really hard, and I'm not mad at myself. I was just trying something out. But like, oops, I'm sorry, because I honestly misdirected probably a lot of people on this whole path of like, it's the age of Aquarius. And honestly, I just like, I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff anymore, and I don't want to. Why? Why don't I want to? Well, I guess, yeah, the main theme of this video is like, I follow the word of the Bible. There are instructions. It is an instruction manual. It is not easy to understand all the time. Like, historical, spiritual document of epic proportion, and I follow it to the best of my ability. I am honestly, a lot of times I'm like, I don't really know how to do it all the time. So I go to church so that they can help me figure it out. And then while I'm there, I'm like, whoa, there's an added benefit of having like community here and people that are loving and kind. So I go to the Orthodox Church now. I'm a Christian Orthodox. I'm an Orthodox Christian. And being an Orthodox Christian is, it's a lot. It's good. It's really good. It's intense. Highly recommend you find your local parish and check it out. There are Orthodox parishes all over the place. I didn't really realize how like well established it is, but it's very beautiful. I love my faith. I love my religion. I'm so grateful for it. I don't know how to express how much gratitude and kindness and love and just beauty goes on through that place. But yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at. It's kind of a quick turn. I don't have Facebook anymore, praise God. Ugh. What a dark apparatus that place is. But yeah, so there's so many more stories to tell and like things to establish. I feel like I want to go quick at this. I could keep going and talk and just like dump out a whole bunch of information and stuff in one day and in one sitting. I have so much more on my mind. I have so much more I want to share with the world and things I want to say and do, but I recognize that like being slower and methodical. I don't know if I am very methodical right now, but slowing down is a good idea. Taking my time, and doing things as right as I can, as correctly as I can, is something I'd like to do. And so this is video 2. Thank you very much for those of you who do care about this young man who is still sitting in jail. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you for listening to the fact that I'm a Christian. I am not here to brag about that. Nope. I just want to talk about the fact that like there's like a real serious spiritual situation going on all the time around us, spiritual warfare, literal, and Sam was wrapped up in a spiritual warfare. I believe that. I believe there was a demonic entity that came into someone's body and that person ended up killing Sam. I don't have any doubt about that. I believe that I was attacked by demonic forces last year, absolutely. I believe that there might be more to it than just that. We can talk about that in the future also, but spiritual warfare is very real, you guys. And the undercurrent of all these evil things that are going on in the world, such as the war in Gaza and the genocide there, I mean, the list goes on. There are so many. Like one of the worst atrocities was what happened in Yemen. You guys remember Yemen? Remember all the pictures of like the starving horror that was going on there? It's just the recycling of all these things. The point being that like these atrocities that are taking place are spiritual wars at play, and they're just the physical manifestation of the evil undercurrent that we can't see, but then it plays out and it manifests in that way, and we do see it, not directly with our eyes through the phone if you're in America where it's cozy and you got stupid hats, but like evil, make no mistake, evil is the undercurrent, and you can't always see that unless you enter into portals where you can see stuff. Don't recommend that. Not without the protection of God. So there's something called putting on the full armor of God. It's called Ephesians 6, And in the event that you're struggling and you're like, yeah, I know about spiritual war, I'm in it right now. Well, you gotta armor up. You have to put on the armor of God. You know, it's like really seriously something to contemplate, meditate on it. If you're all about meditation, don't meditate on nothing like I used to for 12 years. Meditate on something beautiful. God calls for meditation, deep contemplation and meditation of Him and of His Word. So meditate on Ephesians 6. There's it's called the helmet of salvation. It's protecting your noggin, protect your brain, protect your thoughts, protect your peace through the salvation. The breastplate of righteousness. Wear the righteousness on your heart and guard it. Use it as a guard. The girdle of truth, which is like a belt of truth that holds truth. You're holding up truth. The shoes of the gospel, so you're walking out the gospel. You are acting out the gospel through your feet. You know, these are very well placed. The sword of the Spirit. The power of life and death is in the tongue, and the sword is represented in the mouth a lot of times throughout, like Revelation, the book of Revelation, and like there's a lot of symbolism within a sword, and like the sword of the Spirit is just like so powerful, your most powerful weapon. And then the shield of faith. You are protected by your faith. You're protected by the whole armor, but like your faith is a shield. Use it. Okay, wow, that was a good one. Whopper of 41 minutes. I don't even know how to edit all this or whatever, make it smaller in time, but I can't. I don't know if I want to anyways, but wish me luck on the upload process, I suppose. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of my journey on this internet scape. More to come. Much love.